Greetings and salutations, my little snowflakes. How's your day going today? So we're talking about team synergy in Wuthering Waves. What is team synergy? Team synergy is where each resonator has a specific role to fulfill on a team. Typical team in Wuthering Waves is having a main DPS, an amplifier / sub DPS, and a healer. The basis of team synergy is utilizing all of the resonator skills in unison to buff the main DPS to maximize your team's DPS. At the moment in Wuthering Waves, the only amplifying skills are outro skills. So team synergy is key to maximize the team's DPS potential to clear endgame content faster. So how does team synergy work? Let's talk team rotation. The team we will use is Calcharo, Yilin, and Verena in this example. We will use Verena's outro skill to buff the team, then intro skill with Yilin to cast her forte skill to cause Yilin's dot, and build concerto energy to use Yilin's outro skill to buff Calcharo's DPS, because Calcharo is the main DPS on this team. Verena's outro buff is a team-wide buff that all resonators on nearby teams will receive. What does it mean by nearby teams? Is while not in multiplayer, all members on your team will get the buff for its duration. If you're playing multiplayer, whoever is on the field will get the buff, and the person who might be off the field if there's only 2 people playing multiplayer. But if 3 people are, all 3 will get the buff if you use her outro skill. So when Verena uses her outro, all your resonators on your team will have their damage amplified by 15% for 30 seconds, which will buff Yilin and Calcharo. For a proper team synergy and rotation, you will start with Verena, swap to Yilin to do Verena's outro, then Yilin will do her intro to do damage. Your goal is to complete Yilin's forte skill to cause the dot and use Yilin's outro buff within 16 seconds, so Calcharo still has Verena's 15% amplified damage buff and Yilin's 20% electro damage buff, plus the 25% Residence Liberation buff for the rest of the 14 seconds left in both Verena's buff and Yilin's buff. This is how to maximize damage, and this is a proper team rotation. After the buffs are done, you switch back to Verena and restart the rotation over and over again. This team build would technically be considered a hyper carry, since you are buffing Calcharo with other teammates. But in Wuthering Waves, we only have 3 party members, so the resonator teams will for the most part be a hyper carry team. So on this team is Verena heals and amplifies, Yilin sub DPS and amplifies, and Calcharo is the main DPS utilizing all the buffs. Another good team synergy is Verena, Gian, and Alto, and the rotation will be the same. Verena outro to Alto, then outro to Gian to keep the buff up that Verena and Alto give for the remainder of 4 seconds. But did you know that Wuthering Waves also tells you what roles each resonator fills? Check this out. So a lot of people will say Yilin's a main DPS, but even Wuthering Waves doesn't classify Yilin as a main DPS. Yet, I know some of you will argue in the comments otherwise. Right now, I'm going to show you how to actually get to what combat roles are. So first you're going to go to this screen, click on resonators, and then the resonator is going to be highlighted, and then you go down here, you see combat roles. You click these 3 dots and it will tell you what the character's roles are. I got Yilin highlighted. Now we're going to see if she has main damage dealer role. Wait, she doesn't. Wait a minute, she's not a main damage dealer? Say what? Yeah, I know. I was as shocked as you were. No, I wasn't at all. Main damage dealer is right here. She has amplifying. She specializes coordinate attacks, resonance skill damage, and concerto efficiency. So that's what she does. But her main thing is she's a damage amplifier, right? She's not a main damage dealer. The reason is it's because what her outro skill does. As you can see here, I've said it in the video already. This is what it does. It's an amplifying skill. You go over here to Jinxie. Hers is a self buff, so when you do that, it helps her gain incandescent, or it gains something. I don't understand it, but like, point being, it's a selfish buff. We go to Verena. Hers is it heals and amplifies, and she's not going to have main damage. Nope, she has what? Heal, coordinate attacks, damage amplification. Let's go to Gian. He has the main damage role, right? And we go here. What's his outro? Oh, a damage outro. We're gonna start seeing a trend. Encore, it's a damage outro. Okay, and then we go up here. Oh, combat role, main DPS. Let's go to Havoc Rover, main DPS. Go down here. Look at that. A damage outro. It is so simple in this game to recognize that if they don't have a damage outro, they're not a main DPS, because you want that buffed by your other people. The others that have amplifying outro skills are considered amplifiers. I wonder what that means for Changli then. I'll explain later. In Wuthering Waves, amplifiers are considered sub DPS since a sub DPS amplifies the main DPS. It is a simple concept, but people are so dumb. I understand the honest questions and people who actually didn't know or understand this is just trying to learn something new. But the reason I made this video is due to some of these dumbass comments. I'm going to consider these the hate comments featured in this video. Please enjoy. What I don't get from reading these comments is how it is this hard for Wuthering Waves players to understand what and how team synergy works. Each resonator has its own role to fill on a team. So when I made this video about is Changli good for free to play, you can click up here in the corner and check it out, but come back to this video to finish it. I explained that Encore, Changli, and Verena will be Changli's best team until a better main Fugis DPS other than Encore gets released. So this will be the best team for Changli at the moment. Then for free to play, Tuxia, Baiji, and Changli is the best, while explaining why this is the case. But since I mainly classify Changli as a sub DPS, I got hate from ignorant Wuthering Waves players that have no clue as to what team synergy is. People in the comments were saying since Changli has an amplifier outro, she isn't just a sub DPS, so don't box her in as a sub DPS. Huh? Anyway, well, Changli is an amplifier, and by definition of an amplifier is to buff another resonator, which is a supportive skill. Hence, a support is a sub DPS, because your goal is to buff your main damage dealer with as many buffs as you can give your main DPS. If you're using Changli as a main DPS and swap to Verena to restart the rotation, the amplified damage that Changli gives with her outro is wasted on Verena. So tell me how this is a proper team rotation. You can't, because it isn't a proper team rotation and is a huge DPS loss. By not using a proper team that has synergy with each other, you won't be maximizing your DPS potential. So in this video, I am just teaching the importance of team synergy just so you can maximize your DPS. Do you need to do this? No, because the game truly isn't that hard yet. But knowing what team synergy is will help you understand maybe why you're not clearing some content in Wuthering Waves. If you made it to the end of the video, please leave your best hate comment in the comment section below. I will pick one that I think is the best and feature it in my next video. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to press my emotional damage buttons, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.